Welcome to the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show, right here on the home of the Bismarck Bobcats, Super Talk 1270. Join us this and every Wednesday live from the Tap In Tavern on Memorial Highway in Bismarck as the voice of the Bobcats, Paul Teeple, gives you an inside look at the world of Bobcat hockey with head coach and general manager Lane Sedevy. Let's send it out to the Tap In Tavern with Paul Teeple and Lane Sedevy on Super Talk 1270.
Hello and welcome to the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. A pleasant good evening to you. My name is Paul Teeple here with you until the hour of 6 p.m. live from the Tap In Tavern on Memorial Highway right here in Bismarck to bring you inside the world of your Bobcats. Joined by Bobcats head coach general manager Heather Lane Sedevy. Later in the show, Garrett Roms, Bobcats assistant coach and all-time leading scorer, chimes in on his thoughts around the world of hockey. And we'll be joined in the second segment by Bobcats defenseman and North American Hockey League second star of the week in the Central Division, Tony German, Bismarck's own, will be joining us. But first, let's take a look back at how the weekend broke down for the Bobcats, and it was one of the most successful weekends of the season so far for the good guys. As it didn't start all that great, however, for the Cats at home, falling behind 2-1 to Aberdeen after one period. Tanner Okeson got the scoring started for the Wings. Alex Strand answered his fellow Roseau Ram with a tip-in of a Tony German shot. But Colin Raver got his first career goal with a minute 51 to go in the first period, and Aberdeen claimed a 2-1 lead, no scoring in the second. And in the third, Cullen Willox, playing his first game in over 3 weeks after missing time thanks to a leg injury, was able to fire a shot that was coming in so hot that even after it got blocked by the Wings, it wound up screaming inside the top corner post meeting and giving a 2-2 tie to the game that would send it to overtime and eventually a shootout. Though both teams had great scoring chances. Kyle Haig had a great opportunity in overtime on a short 1-on-0. Alex Fitzakis rejected with a great glove save. Evan Giesler and Matt Perry had a 2-on-1 when the defenseman Heidkamp fell down defending fell down, and it turned into a 2-0. And they couldn't cash it in because Perry's return pass on the give and go to Giesler ended up behind the captain. And into the shootout we went. Bobcats doing big business in the shootout. Great-looking shootout for Logan Rivard, who's 3 for 3 on the air in the shootout. Colin Willox followed up with a goal himself, and then Giesler finished it off with a little low, a stick-side shot. Bobcats won because 3 of the 4 Aberdeen shooters couldn't connect, as Alex Fitzakis made saves on Kyle Haig and Michael Soucier. Bjorn Sigurdarsson missed the net. Only Tanner Okeson scored in the shootout, and the Bobcats won 3-2. A big response for the Bobcats to be able to rally and win. It's the first time all year that they've won at home when they didn't score the first goal of the game. That turned it over to Saturday as the Bobcats headed up Route 83 to face off against the Minot Minotauros. And against Minot, the Bobcats, well, they struggled early as their only power play of the first period wound up in a shorthanded goal off the stick of former Aberdeen Wing and Austin Brew and Colton Kramer. He only has 2 goals. Both of them are against the Bobcats this year. But the power play, after coughing it up, went out and redeemed themselves in the second and third period. Evan Giesler finally broke the spell of Tanner Holmes with a third chance opportunity, tapping it in and giving the Bobcats a 1-1 tie head into the third period. In the third period, the levee broke for the Bobcats in a very good way. Matt Perry with a power play goal, an absolute beauty one-time snapshot off of an entry from Harrison Aid. That got the Bobcats to a 2-1 lead. Just over a minute later, Giesler doubled it on a sky-high clear-out pass from Colin Willox, and Minot D misplayed it, and Giesler sped hard up the left wing, beat to the right, but tucked the puck back to his left, beat Holmes 3-1 Bobcats, and then after a thunderous fight win for J.M. Petrowski near the 6-minute mark of the third, Tony German fires one through traffic. A great screen set by Jared Pike and Matt Perry. 4-1 Bobcats. That's how it would end. A big-time win against the first-place team. The Bobcats pull into third place in the Central Division. With all that said, we say hello to Bobcats head coach and general manager Lane Sedevy. Lane, how you doing?
Not bad. Yourself?
Not too bad at all. I mentioned that everything's a little bit sunnier coming off of two emotional wins over your biggest rivals.
Yeah, I think it was a good weekend for us. I mean, anytime you can get 4 points against, obviously teams that are above you in the standings, usually, it's a good weekend. So I thought we did a nice job of, finding a way to come back on Friday night. And Saturday was a pretty good battle, and I thought we did a nice job of, going in there, building again on the road. A little different this time. We created a little separation, so a little breathing room there in the third period, which is always nice.
Oh, it's weird to think that there was no drama in this game, and really the last time that this team won a game without any drama was probably that 7-3 win all the way back on November 1st against Brookings. Every other win that this team has been a part of has really had some element of drama, even if it was just will Alex Vitsakis get that shutout in Brookings the next weekend. But really being able to comfortably cruise to a win, it felt a little foreign up in the press box. I'm sure it felt a little foreign down 10 feet beneath me on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, it's been something that we've been struggling with. I mean, I felt for quite a while there we were finding a way to just avoid points, and I feel like, we're starting to finally figure out, what it takes to obviously get 2 points on a nightly basis, and, back-to-back wins and, a good sweep on the weekend. But, I do think we're going in the right direction. I think our guys are starting to figure it out, which is always nice. It's something that we've been obviously been concerned about, early on. I know we're a young hockey team. We just, it took a while, and it's got to obviously keep going in the right direction. It's something that we got to keep building off of.
And the power play, man. We've been talking about it for the last, 3 weeks at this point. But another strong weekend from the power play, getting the goal against Aberdeen, and then turning around. They're not getting a goal against Aberdeen because it didn't get any opportunities. But then 2 for 7 the next night against Minot, coming in cold because you have the whole week of practice getting Colin Willox reacclimated into the power play. Then you don't get to use him for an entire game against the Wings. Then it comes out. Then you get it out, and he puts up 2 power play assists the next night on both Giesler's goal and Perry's game winner.
Yeah, I mean it's and not to mention, I think it's something to be said that we had missed Willox for 6 games. We substituted Tony German in there, who did a great job. Flip the tide. Oscar Zbatna goes to Latvia. Our guy on our first unit, who's a big body, who is, done a great job for us in front of net. And I tell you what, the 6'6" frame is hard to replace. But we put Logan Rivard in there, who did a great job. I know he's not 6'6", but he fights and he battles in there. And I thought he did a great job for us. Our personnel, we haven't had. Even on our other unit, we had Joey Tyron quarterback in it. He got hurt. And obviously, we have Garrett Nelson up there, so we just really haven't had a lot of luck with injury. But moving forward, I think come December 28th, it's going to be nice to hopefully have everybody back for the first time in a long time.
It is a very, very long time. One thing I noticed on the power play, you mentioned all the names that moved through. One guy who's been consistent for the last couple of weeks, Jared Spooner, seemed to be an interesting catalyst on the power play, particularly on Saturday, because the power play made the adjustment between you and Garrett and Jim as coaches and the players on the ice made the adjustment that Spooner had about 20 feet in any direction to operate when he got the puck on the right boards. And it seemed like that was kind of what triggered the power play to really start succeeding against Minot.
Yeah, I think it was, just good recognition by obviously him and our whole power play unit. They do a good job up ice pressure, but once we get them in zone, they do allow zone entry, and they are passive, and they block a lot of shots. So, we want to try to get the puck in the middle of the ice into Sal's in there, and obviously use Willie and just try and get pucks through. And I thought, once we started doing that, we had obviously we took that time out. We had some great chances to score before the period, but I thought we gained some momentum off that.
And the biggest thing I noticed, we talked a little bit about this Saturday night, is the game got emotional, the game got a little chippy, and it was only one side that really lost their composure. It was the guys that were wearing the white jerseys, not the guys wearing the visiting jerseys. That was a big revelation, I think, for this young team to stay out of the silly stuff and to just instead take control of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always easier when you're up on the scoreboard too. But for the most part, I thought we did a pretty good job of staying somewhat disciplined. It's obviously in game time. It's a hard thing to do when emotions are through the roof, and obviously we're having success. And I thought they started to run around a bit and start taking some cheap shots at us. So. I thought we did do a good job of, staying somewhat composed and making sure that the only thing that mattered was the scoreboard and 2 points.
And the fun thing is that you just get to turn around and do it again with the scene switched Friday at Aberdeen, Saturday at home, and certainly not going to be a lot of love lost by the time 2015 rolls around between the Bobcats, Wings, and Toros.
What are we doing the next weekend?
And then it's at Minot on Friday and home to Aberdeen on Saturday. Oh, and in case you missed it, on New Year's Eve it's home to Minot.
That's I don't know. It's going to be a battle, that's for sure. And it is what it is. And at the end of the day, last weekend was great. It's got to be like I told our guys, we've got to enjoy it. We've won our last 5 of 6. Things are going the right direction, but we can easily give those points back this weekend. So we need to stay focused. We need to do another good job this weekend.
Which game is more important to focus on? Let's look at Minot. Which game is more important to focus on? The 4-1 win on Saturday, or the 7-0 loss the last time the Toros were in the VFW Sports Center?
Well, I don't think it's, I feel like ever since we got beat 7-0, we played some pretty good hockey.
Not bad.
It's something that, is, I would say maybe fueled us a little bit. I think it was pretty humbling, obviously in front of our fans and in our building. So I feel like we've responded, which is, it was a big night the next night in Minot for us to see what kind of character we had in that locker room. And I just think we need to keep executing our game plan. We need to keep learning from our mistakes, and we'll continue to have success.
And on the other side of that, heading down to Aberdeen, the Wings have struggled at home, and they're amid a 5-game losing streak. But let's be honest, that is so misleading. So much talent for Aberdeen. They always perform so well at home. How do you keep the guys focused on the fact that this team is just waiting to erupt at the ODI Center?
Well, I think it's, I don't think there's any freebies, that's for sure. Just the, how the depth of obviously our division in the league. Standings are so close. I mean, we're only a point up, so there's got to be an incentive for us. It's third place on the line. We're trying to obviously move up in the standings and not, move back down. So it's a tough place to play. All our guys know that. We've had some success there already this year, and we just got to have that, business-like mentality and go down there and get 2 points.
Overall, taking the long view, we talked a little bit about this on Friday night after the game. You said the coming into the season, the goal of the coaching staff was to have this team around 500 coming into Christmas time. Christmas time still 4 games away, but that goal certainly in view. That's great, but it also seems like not only that, but this team is right in contention for any spot in the Central Division. 14 and 13 and 1 right now puts you within 6 points of first place, which is shared by Austin, mostly because they have excelled at waiting until after regulation to lose. Right now, the Bobcats have the exact same win-loss total of the Austin Bruins, who are a first-place team. That's got to be extremely encouraging with the second half right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the front half of our schedule with a young hockey team, it's not appealing, that's for sure.
That's a really nice way to say it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's a tough schedule. First, I think 13 of 14 are on the road. We went to Alaska, we went to Austin the next week. Just was the grind for our guys. They've been through it a lot. And, that was kind of, our goal for us as a coaching staff to be around, around the 500 mark at Christmas, like you had mentioned. We finally got our head above water last Saturday night in Minot. So, hopefully we can keep things going. And like I said, it's going to be I think a warm welcome. Obviously, welcome back Oscars, and hopefully everybody can stay healthy and we can have some luck, moving forward towards playoffs.
I know the big thing that's really jumped up lately amid this 5-1 stretch since that 7-0 game has been both sides of the special team. We talked so much about the power play. Last week in the penalty kill, 9 for 9 killed off both Aberdeen power plays, killed off 7 Minot power plays on Saturday night in the 4-1 win. You're creeping closer and closer to that magic 110% combined mark.
Yeah, that's obviously that's the standard. When your special teams are doing well, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think getting Jared Turcotte back, obviously, who's a big guy for PK. Him and Matty Perry with my pairs. Getting Colin Willock back, who's done well on our PK, and how about we lead the league in shorthanded goals? That's something that's breath of fresh air. I mean, it's felt like we gave up a lot the last 2 years, and we haven't had 6 shorthanded goals in a long time. I know that.
I don't think there are 6 shorthanded goals in the last 2 years combined.
No, I don't think so, and I think I do think we have good personnel, on our power play who are starting to get it, starting to execute. But more importantly, that penalty kill, I think our PK's percentage is going in the right direction. We're starting to, have that character. Like I've said it before, everybody likes playing the power play. You find out really what your team is for the guys who go out there and sacrifice some block shots on the penalty kill.
And the penalty kill up to 6th in the league. The power play is up to 4th in the league after the PK had kind of dipped a little bit and the power play had jumped up, both rounding into near top 5 form.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that, I don't know if we've ever been up there in top 5 in both of them, but we're close. And
probably sometime in early 2010, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a pretty good guess. It's hard to do. It really is. I mean, it's usually one's good and one struggles, or you don't have the consistency throughout with both of them. But I think we do have the right personnel for both specialty teams this year.
And one last question before we head off to break. The guy coming up next, Tony Gurman, is a guy who struggled a little bit over the Thanksgiving weekend, and I know that the coaching staff has worked particularly hard with him over the last couple of weeks. He turns in second star of the week performance, and he's got a season-high 6-game point streak going right now for the Bobcats. What's been turning it around for big number 5 out there?
Well, I think I think he did struggle there for a little bit, and it's one thing. I think at game 25, that if your rookies on the back end or forwards are struggling still, you can still. You feel like you have time to correct it, but I feel like ever since we had individual meetings and sat down with him, and I feel like he's just making the right play. It doesn't always have to be the fancy play, and that goes for our whole defensive core. It's just when the play's not there, just live the fight another day, and I think that's something Tony's done, and I know he's not on our power play unit right now at the moment, but he's still putting up points, and obviously a big goal on Saturday night.
Absolutely. We're going to step away for a commercial break. The aforementioned Tony Gurman joining us on the other side of it. You're tuned to the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show live from the Tavern in Bismarck on the radio team with the Cats Super 1270. Welcome back to the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Paul Tibble here with you. Be rejoined by Bobcats head coach and general manager Wayne Sedevi in a few moments, but we turn things over to the players here as we near the bottom of the hour. And tonight we say hello to a second-year Bobcat out of Bismarck, Tony Gurman. Tony, how's it going?
Not too bad. How about you?
Not too bad at all. Thanks for taking a little time and joining us here tonight. Now, the first thing I want to ask, you came back, you played here your rookie year last year, and I'm sure it was quite the experience coming back and playing at the junior level. But I want to know what has changed between your first and second year playing here at home as a Bobcat.
Well, it's always nice playing at home. You're living at home, you have all your friends here, but I just think you got a lot of support. I have a lot of support here, family, friends that, come to my games, and they're always, texting me saying, good game, good job, how's everything going? So, it's kind of just like support levels pretty good for me, seeing how I'm from Bismarck, so.
Now, you're a 1995 birth year, which means you still have another year of junior eligibility left. And a lot of times the guys that aren't the 20-year-olds, aren't the guys that are going to be aging out, aren't necessarily guys that are going to be thought of as leaders per se on a team. But this team is so young. What's it been like to maybe jump into a leadership role this year earlier than you might have expected to?
It's kind of just, everyone's kind of going to be a leader. We're, as the guys that are coming back, we just kind of, it's a big difference for the first-year guys that come in, and, it's a big change on them. It's not just, like, physically, but it's, it's also mentally that it puts stress on your body, and, it's just a long season, and I feel like, once the year keeps going on, we're going to have more and more leaders emerge. That's what we need on the team if we want to keep winning, good leaders that, push people in the right direction.
Well, and that's one thing that I have noticed a lot since that, especially the win in Minot in the shootout a couple of weeks ago, that it really hasn't seemed like, it seems like everybody's kind of taking ownership is what assistant coach Jim Peluso called it. There are a lot of guys being more vocal and stepping up and being leaders, whether they're rookies or veterans or what have you. And you could tell me from home, it seems like that's what's been spurring this recent success.
Sorry, you're cutting out.
No worries. Just talking about the way that it seems like everybody, rookie and vet, has been stepping up, taking ownership. The bench seems alive lately. And is that what's been fueling this mini run that the team's been on lately?
Yeah, Jimmy comes in the locker room every once in a while and he goes, rookies, you're not rookies anymore. It's your time. I think that's really taken into effect the last couple of weeks here. Everyone's starting to play pretty good as a team, and that's why we're having success. Everyone's kind of bonding together. Everyone's picking each other up. No one's being negative ever. So I think that's what we need to keep doing if we're going to keep being successful as a team.
You say the coach of town rookies, you're not rookies anymore. There's a lot of young guys who stepped up. Who's one rookie that you've seen that's really upped his game here in the last few weeks?
Oh, we have couple rookies, everyone's playing better, but if I had to say a couple rookies that have been doing really good, Jared Swinner's been doing pretty good. He's been playing pretty well for us. Joe Tyron, he was recently injured, but he's one of the guys on the back end. And I know everyone. You can't be worried when he's on the ice. He's a great player, and everyone knows. Everyone needs to. Everyone feeds off of, people playing well. So, I feel like if, we have rookies that keep playing well and our veterans keep playing well, I think that's just going to have an effect on the guys, keep up in their game every day in and day out.
So you start the season, you have 4 points in your first 22 games, 10 points since then. What's been turning it around for you personally?
I kind of focus, more confidence once you come in your second year. You get a lot more confidence coming in your second year. You know what to expect. You know the pace of the game. What I've been really working on this year is the last couple of weeks, especially, is being more. Playing physical and competing. The offense will come, and I've talked to coaches about that. I just feel like it's really been working for me last week, and I thought it worked pretty well for me. Playing defense first, and offensive chances are going to happen eventually.
Now, this weekend, 2 more games against Aberdeen and Minot. The scenes shift, and it goes to a couple of places where each of these teams are very dangerous. Minot, the best road team in the division here so far, 9-2 away from the Mesa. But we'll start with Aberdeen. You know what it's like to go down there and play at the Dean Dome, and you know that they're really hungry for a win. Give us the player side scouting report for Friday's game in South Dakota.
Well, it's always fun going to Aberdeen. We all know what to expect. The fans really get into the game. It's a great atmosphere to play in, but, I think we just need to go down there and, we got to be focused. You got to take care of business. You really got to be focused the whole game. It starts off in the morning when you wake up. It's just kind of everyone's getting focused, and, you just kind of got to keep your head in the game. The fans are trying to do whatever they can to throw you off your game. But, the last couple of times we've been down there, we've done good. We've had great success against Aberdeen, so hopefully we can keep that rolling in this weekend.
Now, Minot comes back to VFW Sports Center from a game that I'm sure that most of the guys would rather not mention. What does it take to keep the success that has come recently against the Toros rolling here in the capital?
Well, Minot's a good team. They're one of the best teams in the division this year, so that's for sure. And, I think we've had success against them. We've been physical against them, and that's what's really helped us have success against Minot, is being physical. And, we got to play full 3 periods. And, I feel like if we keep feeding off of what we've been doing the last couple of weeks, we're going to have good success this weekend and hopefully keep carrying it on.
And one thing I talked with Lane last segment about, I'm curious your thoughts on it. What was the sentiment on the bench? It really seemed like everybody kept their composure even when Minot started to go off the rails late in that game. Was it tough to keep the composure, or did it make it a little bit easier just to see kind of how crazy and out of control the Toros had gotten by the end of that game?
Yeah, well, that's what they're preaching on the bench. We got to stay composed. That's what happens. That's what comes to, team scores a goal on you. I think it's natural for a lot of players to get down on themselves, get down on the bench. But there's always another shift, and you just got to stay positive and go out there and play like it's your last shift, and next time you're out on the ice.
Is this team not afraid of trailing anymore? Because it seems like this team has faced a deficit after a period for what seems like the last 10 games or so. Is this team just not scared of deficits at this point?
Well, I think, it's not a good thing, but we've been behind a lot of times going the later periods of the game, and, it's not, I hate to say it, but, I don't think we're not nervous going in there. I've been struggling with that. We've always been losing and going in the second and third periods, and, I just think now more and more as everyone starts playing better as a team, I feel like we won't have to go in that situation anymore.
Well, Tony, we thank you for stopping by and sharing a little time and running the marathon here on the Players side for the Coaches Show. And good luck this weekend against the Wings and Toros again.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that's Bobcats defenseman Tony German. We'll step away. Brief chat with Garrett Roth on the other side of our next commercial break. It's the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270.
Right now, it's 30.
Our own radio station. Not Fargo, not the Twin Cities. Proud to be Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. All people here with you on Memorial Highway in Bismarck at the Tap In Tavern, our native home of the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show, and one of the premier hockey bars in all of North Dakota, not just in Bismarck, Mandan, but anywhere. If you're a hockey fan, this is a place where you want to come have a few adult beverages. Absolutely. We're joined now by Bobcats assistant coach Garrett Roth, also the all-time leading scorer as a player. Garrett, good evening.
How are you doing this evening?
Not too bad at all, life's a lot sunnier after a couple wins, and, 5-1 in the last 6 makes the sunshine bright even when the clouds are out here in the capital.
Yeah, it's been a nice stretch over the last month. I know in our last 12 games we're 8-3-1, and so, our young guys are really starting to mature and develop into kids that are starting to realize what junior hockey is all about, and so hopefully we can just continue to get better each day and grow as a team and hopefully start putting wins together in bunches like we have recently.
And one of the big games coming up this weekend, obviously Aberdeen on Friday. It had McEuroll up in Green one. But let's talk a little bit instead about Saturday's game because the game is huge against Minot, but also the setting is huge because it's Christmas party night, and part of that is one of the ultimate minor hockey traditions, or minor league hockey tradition, whether professional or junior, in the teddy bear toss. For fans that aren't familiar, it's the second annual Bobcat Teddy Bear Toss. When you bring a teddy bear, or if you can't make the game, bring it in before, and we'll hand it out. When the Bobcats score first goal, every teddy bear in the house gets thrown out on the ice. It's such a cool thing, and you see it all over the place, and we're thrilled to be able to do that again this year, Garrett.
It's really a cool tradition in hockey and in sports, and fortunately, this is our second year, being a part of it, and it's just so important, especially for young kids that don't have the means to necessarily get presents. It's something that they're able to have a bright spot and be given teddy bears and stuffed animals that were brought to the game that fans threw on the ice through our game, and so it was neat. I watched a video. You and I watched a video on Monday at Calgary Hitmen where they had 25,000 plus bears.
25,000 bears. That's one bear for every 3 people who live in Bismarck. It seems like quite a bit of bears. I don't think we're expecting 25,000, but I think that we could try and set the high water mark for the North American League. I think our fans are up to the challenge, don't you?
It's definitely a fun night, and it'll be great to be a part of it. Hopefully, we can generate enough to be able to spread them out all over the community, because that's one of the big things, and one of the really fortunate parts about being with Bobcats is that you're able to give back and be able to do things for kids and people that are less fortunate, hopefully brighten their day.
The Bobcats, all the way back to the origins in 1997, your time in the early 2000s, all the way here into the middle teens now, have always been a strong team in terms of giving back to the community. This team in particular, though, really seems to really enjoy getting out there, giving back. Have you noticed that as well?
Well, we're in the midst of our school program right now this week and next week. We'll go to elementary schools and talk with kids and play in their gym class with them and stuff like that. And, our group that we have, is really hands-on this year. They've done a great job, and I know we went to the Special Olympics bowling about a month and a half ago, and it was a great event. I know a lot of our players came out of that, just feeling good about, being part of it and seeing, how much fun some of those athletes had, and being able to work with them one-on-one was a really great experience for players and kids 18 to 20 years old to see, that there's people less fortunate that would give anything to be in their shoes, and, it really makes guys open their eyes and realize, there's bigger things outside of hockey, and to make sure not to just be focused on yourself.
Absolutely, and this team started before the season even began. In August, Colin Willox visiting Landon LaValle in the Twin Cities in Cancer Care, a young Bobcat fan from here in Bismarck, Mandan. The team participating with Dreams in Motion during the preseason weekend, and working with not only Dreams in Motion, but the U.S. Paralympic sled hockey team was awesome with Josh Sweeting, who's now the captain of the national team for sled hockey, and the MS walk that went on here in the capital of Sertoma Park all before the season even began, and it's really carried through strongly ever since.
Well, and it's been nice, we have a lot of these events lined up, and, we ask the guys, if you have time, sign up on the sign-up sheet and be part of it, and all season we haven't had just 1 or 2 guys or 10 guys that want to do it. It's the whole team that stepped up and said, we're all going to do it. And for us as a coaching staff and an organization, it's really good to see, because, like I mentioned earlier, it's crucial to give back to the community that supports you night in and night out. And, it's just one of the little things that hopefully we can give back to the Bismarck Mandan community.
Absolutely. Well, Garrett, thank you for stopping by. Good luck this weekend against the Wings and the Toros, and we'll talk to you again next week. Well, actually, we'll talk to you Friday night after the first period.
Sounds good, Paul. Have a nice week.
You as well, sir. That's Bobcats assistant coach Garrett Roth. We'll step away. One last commercial break. Lane Centerville back on the other side with the 3 keys to the weekend, brought to you by Buckland Chevrolet. It's the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show on Talk 1270.
Right now, it's 30.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Welcome back to the Bobcat Hockey Coaches Show on Super Talk 1270. Paul Siebel here with you as the Bobcats getting set to take on their 2 biggest rivals again this weekend with the roles reversed at Aberdeen on Friday. Listen to the game live right here on Super Talk 1270 with pregame coverage starting at 6:45. And then the Bobcats back home on Saturday. We just talked about with Garrett Roth for Teddy Bear Toss Night. It's a Christmas party night. There'll be an ugly Christmas sweater contest, a visit from Santa, and, of course, Teddy Bear Toss Night. Get those teddy bears or any other stuffed animal and bring them to the game. Toss them on the ice of the Bobcats' first goal. Buy and print your tickets online at BismarckBobcats.com. As we welcome back Bobcats head coach and general manager Lane Sedevy, and we'll bring it on home with the 3 keys to the weekend brought to you by Pucklich Chevrolet. Over 1,000 people a day switch to Chevy. Pucklich is the preferred Chevrolet dealer of Bobcat hockey. Pucklich Chevrolet, where respect comes standard, find new roads. All right, Lane, same subjects, different scenes. What's your first key to another go-around with the Wings and Toros?
Well, I think key number 1 is to see if we can get 25,000 teddy bears on the ice and duplicate what the Calgary Hitmen did. That was a pretty neat deal. But, obviously a great event for us on Saturday night. But, I think key number 1, I think it's our special teams. I thought we did such a good job. Power play and penalty kill. I mean, my power play has been pretty good. Aberdeen's been, I think, okay.
Pretty good against the Bobcats, though.
Yeah, and, I just thought we did such a great job. It's always great to have the power play going, but, it can go by the wayside on sometimes how much a penalty kill can mean, at a certain point, in the game. So I just thought our special teams was, what were the statistics on that? We had to be positive, 4, 5?
Well, on Friday, 2 for 2 on the power play, then 7 for 7 on Saturday night, and 2 for 7 on the weekend total, both coming on Saturday night as well. So really a special teams victory all around, especially when you consider those Aberdeen power plays both came in the third period of that game.
Yeah. So it's just we didn't have a look. So what do? You obviously got to send your penalty kill out, and what a turn of events. 14 penalties on Saturday and 2 on Friday.
Different refs?
I know. It is what it is. But, we found a way to get 4 points, and I think special teams is going to be, another big key to the weekend, this weekend.
The special teams has certainly looked sharp, and without tipping your hand too much, I imagine that the best part about it is that there's going to be a little bit more consistency from last week to this week, and I think that lack of consistency probably is what led to that shorthanded goal in the first period on Saturday.
Well, it's it's one of those things that you talk about, and obviously J.M. Pietrowski gets a game suspension, so there goes your consistency in the power play. So we're going to have to obviously tinker with it a little bit, but
you hate tinkering, don't you?
Yeah, find another Bobby in front because he does such a good job. Obviously, we're going to be without him on Friday night, so we're going to have to find a way to win, with somebody else in front.
No doubt about that. Tinkering, certainly one of your favorite things. Visiting broadcasters always ask me, do we have a line chart? And I usually laugh out loud when they ask me that because usually the line chart is 3-4 different things by the time the first intermission ends. Anyway,
it works for Glenville.
Yeah, exactly. I've never seen the point of a line chart either, especially if something's not working. Make something else work. Key number 2 on the Pucklich Chevrolet 3 keys to a weekend that includes a game at Aberdeen before Christmas party night on Friday back at the VFW.
Well, I think key number 2 is I think a big key for us is establishing our forecheck. I feel like we're a really good hockey team and we execute it. We get a lot of chances off of it, and I think if we can execute it, we're going to have success. I think the big thing, too, is not only executing our forecheck, but, we have things that we've gone through over on video, and one of the things that we need to do more of is get bodies in front of the net, and I feel like we had success last weekend when we got those bodies into those high-traffic areas. So that kind of goes hand in hand. We got to be gritty. F1's got to do a great job taking the body, and we got to find a way to the front of the net. You want to score goals in this league. I think it's a prime example, a guy who's got 16 already for us this year. Evan Geeser goes to the front of the net. He's got a strong stick and a good stick in front, and I think that's the reason why he's got 16 goals. But, we got to establish our forecheck obviously on the road. We don't want to sit back. We don't want to weather any storm from them. We want to be ready to go when the puck drops and turn the heat up on those guys.
That front against Aberdeen it's everything. Between the 5-4 overtime loss, the first time they came to the way that things turned around in the third period, the last game against them on Friday night, when the Bobcats winning the net front battle, they're winning. When Aberdeen's winning the net front battle, they're winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a, it goes hand in hand. Obviously, your D got to do a good job of staying on the defensive side, boxing out, getting sticks in front. I mean, you look at, I don't know, just a flashback, but obviously they're overtime winner. We didn't do a good job of blocking a shot, and not only that, we took away our own goaltender's eyes. So, you got to find a way to let your goaltender see it. Make sure you clean out rebounds, the second, third chances. But we just want to be tough to play against. We want to get to that paint. I think that's going to be a goal of ours, all year long.
And the way that the players made the adjustment last week is got to be another thing that you're looking at when you're talking about the forecheck, because the forecheck has to change so drastically between Friday and Saturday because Aberdeen and Minot are so different in how they create offense.
Well, I think it's it is a little different in the respect that in the aspect of I think exiting your zone. I don't know if we change a whole lot. Our forecheck, I feel like we've done such a good job at times, and with our pressure. The thing is, you obviously got to be a little more careful against Minot, who is running. You got your pucks. You can't turn over pucks on zone entry and blind, obviously, in zone.
Absolutely. Let's move on. Key number 3 at Aberdeen Friday, home to Minot on Saturday.
Well, I think key number 3 should be probably the same all year long. I think it's something that we haven't really done. I felt like we played a great 40, on the back half in Minot, and I thought we, 30 minutes against Aberdeen, but we found a way to get 4 points. So consistency has been a huge thing with this hockey team. Back-to-back nights been a big thing with this team, but I think the big part is we got to find a way to play 60 minutes. I know it's something that I've harped on for a long time, but it's just no points are easy in this league, and I think it's one thing that we're starting to figure out what it takes on a night-in, night-out basis on how to get 2 points, and then on the flip side, the sun comes up next morning, got to do the same thing.
And it always starts different. Every game is different, and the big thing is that for you, it's got to be really encouraging that this team is where it is, given the inconsistency that you're always trying to iron out. And on the other side, if you're any other team in the Central Division, it's got to be terrifying to think about how inconsistent this team is, and yet here they are with a winning record coming up on the halfway mark.
Well, I'd like to know how many games we've come from behind. It's not a point in the game. I don't know. It seems like
we'll crunch the numbers on that tomorrow.
It seems like we have to get scored on or lose a lead to start playing better, which is it's one thing to obviously do that, but to stick with it and show some character and come back and obviously get some points here in the last 13, 14 games. It does show character. So I would just like to see us, I think along with 60 minutes is learn how to play with the lead, not change anything, just buckle down, make sure you take care of pucks out, pucks in, and really stifle a hockey team like we did Saturday night in Minot.
Right now, tied for the most wins when trailing after 2 periods. It's probably not a great stat for a coach to hear, but on the other hand, it's an awesome stat for a coach to hear.
Yeah, I will say it's been they've had us on the edge of the seat. That's for sure. I know.
You think?
Heard a lot of good compliments from the fans. What a great hockey game, and I don't know. I think I got about 200 gray hairs over the weekend. So it's just one of those things that I think we need to figure out how to be more consistent. And it's obviously being a hockey team, but like you said, there are a lot of positives. Finding ways to get points. I felt like for a while there, you can get on both sides. You can find ways to give points away, and I think the big thing is we are starting to figure out how to get those points. I think the big thing is enough of the shootouts and overtime. We need to do it in regulation.
Right on. Well, Lane, thanks for stopping by and sharing time. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you Friday after the game in Aberdeen.
All right, thanks a lot, Paul.
That's Bobcats head coach and general manager Lane Titovy. Our thanks to him, and our thanks to our man Jim Walsh back at the controls on the strip in Mandan at Town Square headquarters. Jim, thank you, and thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight to make Bobcat hockey a part of your Wednesday. Bobcats at Aberdeen, 6:45 on Friday. Until we meet again, my name is Paul Teagle. Have a great night.